I'm Brence Culp. I'm the treasurer for the Waverly School. My job is to make sure that the school's budget is balanced every year and that we're planning for the future. In order to do that, I work with the finance committee of the board, with the board as a whole, and very closely with Heidi and Heidi's fiscal staff. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit about Waverly's budget now and the opportunities we think that lie ahead for the future. Waverly's annual operating budget is about $6 million a year, and most of that comes from the tuition and fees paid by you, the parents. The remainder comes from contributions and fundraising, both through the annual fund and all of the events you attend sponsored by the WPO. With this $6 million, we pay for the following expenses. Note facilities. 17.6% of our $6 million budget is used to pay for the facilities costs for the elementary school, the middle school, the high school, and the farm. Keep an eye on this. This is the base of our expense tower, and this is where the greatest opportunities lie for creating more fiscal flexibility for the school. Of course, Waverly has teachers and staff, and we like to pay them as much as we can because their worth is immeasurable. In addition to that, Waverly contributes a great deal of its annual operating budget to financial aid. This is a core and fundamental principle for Waverly and something we hope to always hang on to. Program expenses constitute about 5.2% of the budget, and other expenses. All of this adds up to about $6 million a year. As you can see, Waverly's budget is balanced. This means that we're not spending any more money than we take in every year. Through the recession, this was challenging for Waverly, just as it was challenging for many families. We did, as a school, the same things that you did. We looked at every single expense, wondered which were necessary, which we could get rid of, and which we could eliminate altogether. As a consequence, when we make decisions about tuition increases for the following year, or raises that we're able to give to our teachers and staff, we're always considering whether we have enough money to pay for them and whether there are any other expenses that we can cut. Having been through that exercise, we're now turning towards opportunities for the future. As you know, Waverly is not fully mature yet, and there are opportunities which I'm going to explain to you now. As I mentioned before, the facilities block on the bottom is where the greatest opportunity lies. If I go back to the prior slide, you'll see that the facilities expenses constitute 17.6% of our $6 million budget. However, if we were to purchase the elementary school, the facilities expense would be reduced. Why? Because we would be paying a mortgage payment rather than rent, and the mortgage payment would be less expensive than the rent. In addition to that, if we were also to purchase the middle school and pay a mortgage payment instead of rent, our facilities expense would continue to go down. Notice that as the expenses go down on the expense tower, there's a little sliver on top representing savings. Between 90% and 100% represents about $600,000. So you can see there's extra money generated by reducing our facilities expense. We can reduce it even further in the future, and there's no hurry to do this. We have options to purchase the elementary school, purchase the middle school, whenever we can. It is a goal that we're building towards, but is not a requirement immediately. In addition to that, after we've purchased all of our facilities, if we were to pay off our mortgages and own them outright, the facilities expense would drop to only 7.8% of our budget, creating a cushion at the top of the column of about $600,000 every year to invest in other things. In addition to that cost avoidance opportunity, which the board will be actively pursuing over the next several years, there are opportunities on what we call the revenue side. This would include increasing Waverly's enrollment to its maximum capacity. You may or may not know that Waverly's maximum capacity for students is 360 students, spread across all three divisions of the elementary school, the middle school, and the high school. Currently, Waverly has about 324 students. The additional students bring in additional revenue through tuition and fees, and so much so that you can see our tuition and fees plus contributions and fundraising would so far exceed our operating expenses that under this scenario of reduced facilities expenses and higher enrollment, we would have about $1.2 million a year to invest in additional things that we don't currently invest in. And those can include higher salaries for teachers, lower tuition for parents, greater financial aid, expanded programs, expanded facilities. It creates an opportunity to build the school for the future. In addition to that, we have estimated that the current parents could contribute about 20% more to the annual fund than they currently are. And if we got more serious about our fundraising efforts with the outside community as well, we could probably increase our annual fund giving by 40%. This, as you can see, with the difference between the expense column and the revenue column, would generate well over $1.2 million a year to invest in the future of our school. Thank you very much.